with morning introductions out of the way, let's go ahead and start the P3. Let's see what happens. The lazy loot is, it'll be a retelling of what we just did. The interesting loot would be to actually make it take place after. The CPU will fight for you when auto mode is on. That seems like a weird concept to have the game play itself so you can experience the story, but oh wells. Let's see how this goes. So let's see.
The death of everything, but also the beginning.
Well, for one thing, I wasn't exactly expecting to see him. It's also very interesting that they actually kept his original voice actor. I'm pretty, like, 99.9% sure that's his original voice actor.
People have filled the world, yet turned it into a void. The only hope of salvation lies in ruin.
Also, it's interesting to see an update to his artwork, too.
Work in a zoo because that's one huge pile of shit you're pushing around. So, how'd that turn out for you, Dad? It doesn't matter now that you're dead as a doornail, does it? You wanted the world destroyed, huh? Isn't that right, you worthless pest? Fine, I'll do it. This shitty world with its shitty people and shitty lives will disappear, and I'll be the only thing left. After all, if the Father's fallen into darkness, then the Son must rise. Just kidding.
What nonsense.
What?
These constructs can only remain active within my red fog. Even then, they can only do so for a limited amount of time. If you have time to waste with worthless sentiment, hurry up and complete your preparations.
Ha! You've got no sense of humor. Keep up your whining and I'll have to kill you too.
I don't think that'll work out very well.
Such impudence. Take them. They are your pawns.
They're pretty well made. Fine, I've got the power I borrowed from you too. So now there's no way I could lose. Well then, time to make like a tree and turn over a new leaf or whatever.
A puppet version of a puppet. I'll make sure you get the job done this time.
Well, an interesting way of
Now let's
opening.
begin, for the sake of his world.
Ooh, an anime opening. Didn't expect that. A nice little touch. Yeah, it looks like it's just gonna be retelling from their
I
perspective.
finished going through Labrys's personality module and control links.
I was kind of hoping it might been something after and maybe continue the story, but nah. They really went for like a really different design for her. Since when did RE get an anime? What? It shouldn't say. I'm pretty sure I updated it, the persona and that. Does it still say Resident Evil? For some reason. Also, I think the camera's just, yeah. It looks like the camera is just outside the boundary of how far the text goes. So it looks like the camera's in just the right position too. So good morning, Bill. We did about 3 hours of Resident Evil 2 yesterday. We might do some today. If you're gonna stick around, we can definitely do some today. But I said at the end of yesterday's stream we were gonna start with some Arena Ultimax because we didn't start the Persona 3 storyline yet.
I knew we could count on you.
I'm sorry that I asked you for such a big favor.
Oh no, I couldn't possibly stand by after something so important happened. But, is it really all right for me to be doing this? Aren't you all part of some kind of police organization now?
But how are you doing this morning? Let me get a little dry throat away, actually. Had a little breakfast a little while ago.
There's no need to be concerned. Even now that we've become the Shadow Operatives, this lab belongs solely to the Kirijo group.
So what have you been up to? You haven't really been around much. I'm kind of surprised you didn't stop in yesterday when I told you. What? Are you serious? You've not slept at all in 7 days. Go to sleep. What are you, crazy? Why haven't you slept, man? What's going on with that? Are you having trouble with something? Like, what? I couldn't even imagine not sleeping for 7 days for anything. Like, I don't even know what the hell that would do to me. They are talking to you? What? The shadows? Are you just screwing around with me? Okay, the camera just blocks a wee bit. How's the camera on this side? How about we just cut a little? You okay, Bill? You're just screwing around, right? Gotta go to the groceries a little bit? Good morning, Dennis. Well, we're just starting the Persona 3 side of the storyline. It looks like it might be, as I suspected, that it may be just a very different retelling of the story. When someone told me, I mean, it could have been something that might take place after the P4 cast, I was like, oh, you know, that's a possibility, and kind of disappointed in that.
investigating Labrys's mobility systems. All I have to do now is reboot her OS and perform some final checks.
But, Bill, please tell me you're just messing around.
Thank you. How is she?
She'd sustained some heavy structural damage, so I was worried, but thankfully none were critical.
I mean, oh, I'm not sure what to say. I really hope you're just trolling me right now, Bill. Sell spit bomb them for me? I'll do my best, darling. 'Cause I don't need to think you're going crazy now, Bill.
And what did you recover from her memory?
Hey, Pad. We're just on with Persona 3 Arena today. Oh, well, the Persona 3 storyline in Arena, too.
I'm sorry. I searched through it, but I found no records that would lead to finding the one behind what happened. If we want to pursue him any further, we'll have to wait for a report from intelligence. But it seems that will still take some
What happened to my... What happened to my face? Well, my beard grew even more crazy. Well, and is Bill even still around? You okay, Bill? Seriously. One Quasi says, or not Quasi, or you want him to... Well, you just said you didn't sleep for 7 days, Bill. I'm just concerned, you know? That's not good to not sleep for 7 days, man. Yes, my beard grew Satan's consciousness like, Wepaka's, and it ran off. It ran off with some skinned wug of a bear, and they ran away into the woods, and I'm just like, okay.
I see.
Only the Quasi say they are not Quasi. You don't really sleep. You only need to let them think you're asleep. I think you're just messing with me, Bill. You take while you sleep. Well, Dan has claimed I mumble a lot when I sleep because Dan works a different time period job than me. Some of the times he streams is really late, and sometimes I pass out. See, hope you can find a new beard that treats you better. Or maybe wasn't treating your beard nicely. I don't know. I did try to shave it off a few times. That might have rubbed it the wrong way.
Then we have no clues to go on.
Don't be so hasty. We might get new leads from intelligence, right?
Ever since that attempted airplane hijacking, we've learned that the Public Safety Division has been making some disquieting moves. If we don't make a move soon, there's no telling what they'll do to take advantage of the situation. We have to find a lead before they do anything.
She is a bit concerned about that public safety people Notokun's been working with. But yeah, Bill, if you want, we can do some Resident Evil 2 today as well. We got to the second floor of the... We just got to the white side of the second floor. So, we did some okay progress. We're playing on normal, so we have to be cautious on ammunition reserves. And then after I'm done with Resident Evil 2, I'll go pick up the remake. And by then, a lot of the additional content will probably be out. So I think it'd be good. See, he has given them his hair. What else will they give them his soul? No, my soul is very important to me. I needed to praise the sun.
I understand how you feel, Mitsuru-san, but we must solve one problem at a time. That is why we have gathered here today.
You're right. I'm sorry. Please work with me here in reviewing what information we already know.
Did you get extra did you get the extra costume in the... I don't know of anything about the game coming with a picture of Rebecca. I do know there was a costume that was based on the original character that was being made in the beta version of Resident Evil 2. I think was a pre-order. I think it was a pre-order. I'm not too familiar what pre-order incentives it had, but there was a costume, either you buy it or it was a pre-order somewhere, of the female character who was scrapped and would be torn into, yeah. It's like I think it's like a white, reddish, orange jumpsuit kind of thing, because she was supposed to be like a motorcyclist or something, if I remember correctly. Yes, I am playing the original Resident Evil 2 right now. What I'm saying is after the original Resident Evil 2, I'm going to go to the remake.
The person behind this case first stole Labris, the 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, while she was in transport.
Yes. The hijacking of the airplane you were on was a diversion used to conceal the theft of my sister, after which she was transported to Inaba.
Correct. The hijackers were subdued and captured, but we have reason to believe that their minds were under some kind of control.
Actually, they never really explained that control aspect yet. I mean, I guess you just would think the god thing did it, I guess, but I mean, he showed that he could make them stop, but he never like outright like controlled them. They haven't really showed the puppeteering aspect. I think he wants to know if you found a dumb photo of Rebecca playing baseball. Basketball. Ugh. I don't know why it's a baseball. I'm not familiar with a picture of Rebecca playing basketball. That doesn't sound familiar at all, actually. Where was that? I looked around the Star's office. I found the photo where they're like sitting in front of a helicopter thing, and we talked about a weird picture on a desk where Clara mentioned it was someone's boyfriend, and then questions like, well, whose boyfriend it is? Because I think there's only, at most, if you count both Star teams, 2 females. And the office seems to only show that's for the main team. It's an Easter egg. I don't remember how you unlock the picture and the extra costumes. I don't remember how you unlock extra costumes in 2. In 1, I think you just had to beat certain times. You got to look at it a bunch. Well, we could head back, though. I cleared out the upper floor, so that would be easy to run back to. Just checked it a bunch of times. Does it matter which character you are? Like, do you have to be Leon or Clara, or does it matter? We can try it.
The culprit waited until he arrived in Inaba to turn Labris on and fiddle with her memory. And then he threw her into the TV world, right?
Where one's heart and memories manifest themselves. As a machine, Labris was able to control these memories in great detail. In other words, the enemy used her in order to set a trap for us.
When we entered the television world in pursuit, we defeated her shadow and made indirect contact with the culprit.
That person revealed that his goal was to steal our personas by making us fight each other, which would weaken our hearts and turn our personas to shadows. Once he'd accomplished that, he would combine them all so we could have even more powerful shadows.
You have to get from the city to the police station without picking up anything and kill Zombie Brad. Now, I did go downstairs because I couldn't remember. I know in Nemesis you could find Brad as a zombie down there. I couldn't remember in 2, and I went down there and there was no one down the stairs unless he's in a different location in 2. I don't quite remember. Or maybe he's in a certain difficulty. Like I said, I'm playing on normal. So now, if you never way back at the end of Arena 1, at the end of Arena 1, the person that was talking to us at the end of 1 said that they weren't a Persona user, which would mean that they were the god, because obviously the redhead the red hair kid does have a Persona, so it had to be the god. So that's interesting to know that god can't interact with the television world, with the world of their minds.
The culprit's speech pattern is consistent with Ikutsuki-san's mannerisms. His inability to use a persona matches him as well.
Wait, what?
But that's not possible.
Oh, could there actually be something more to the plot here?
That's right. We've confirmed Yakutski's death.
Because he did die. He fell off that big slab of whatever the hell they were standing on when he was trying to sacrifice everyone, and he fell off and he was found dead by the school. So, there could be an interesting twist to this all.
Maybe there's someone out there besides Yakutski who still thinks the same way he did.
Oh, then we're falling to the Red Hair kid in that regard then. Yes, they did really change up whole style, but to be fair, all the Kyotos really changed a lot.
If so, then the world we strive for is still far away.
But yeah, I mean, they really, like, she looks like she's just wearing like a pajama type dress. But then you got Mr. Muscles running around like he's some rejected main Kyoto from an Apocalypse anime. And then you got Mrs. Ghost in the Shell here. So, like, everyone's, like, trying to fulfill some kind of anime trope here.
Yamagishi, when Labrys awakens, can you give her a summary of the case from 3 years ago?
You can recognize the other Kyotos. Well, true, I guess when it comes... Because she... What was she? The second youngest... Other than Ken, I think she was the second youngest. And she also, didn't she have like really short hair? Yeah, she had short hair, so she grew her hair out.
I'd like her to know what went on while she was sealed.
I understand.
Can't you just stick that data into her memory?
If we did that, it would just become a piece of data to her. She needs to be told about it in order for her mind to understand what happened.
She's human through and through, huh?
Also, I noticed something when I was checking her memories. The makeup of Labrys's memory field is slightly different from Igus's. Besides the memory area that she normally accesses, there seems to be a sub-network of some sort.
She has 2 memory networks?
I think it was probably used to incorporate the feedback from her sibling units, but I still don't know for sure.
Oh. That would make sense, because if you remember Labyrinth's storyline from Arena 1, that would make sense with the experiment that was done on her. She had a more tomboyish look. Now she looks really feminine. That's a fair point, too.
That's why I believe it's safer to tell her in person.
Alright, I'll let you tell her however you see fit. Regarding Yakutski, I'm pressuring staff to hurry and review the information, including the newly discovered quarantine server at Ergo Research. We never knew about the server in question before now, because it had been cut off from the group's network. It most likely has information that normally would have never left Ergo Research, such as data on top-secret experiments.
It is very interesting how they brought him back into the storyline, though. Because, I mean, once he dies, he kind of just...
By the way, what was the logic behind that whole Midnight Channel thing?
He just kind of falls to the wayside and barely gets mentioned for the rest of the game. So, it is interesting how they brought a lot of ideas back from Persona 3 into this. Yes, the main Kyoto. This is so far when it comes to the... We don't know what they did with the Persona 3 main Kyoto's body. As far as I know, there's nothing that ever logistically says what happened to his body. But yes, the Persona 3 main Kyoto is still the seal that protects the desires of mankind wanting to die from Nyx.
It's still unknown, but we'll have to send people to Inaba again. We're going to hold a meeting at headquarters tomorrow to discuss countermeasures.
And the Velvet Room residents take care of the... Because when you play the answer, you find out those desires get stuck by the door, and they form this weird creature and it tries to break through the door, so they go and kill that. Now in the Ansel, the original P3 cast kill it, but in Arena 1 we do learn that it gets reformed, and Isabella, was it Isabella? Elizabeth? No, it was Elizabeth. I'm trying to remember which version. Elizabeth goes and kicks its ass whenever it comes back. They eat and drink the blood just like Jesus. What? Uh-oh. Now, if you remember in the P4 storyline, somehow they, like, got kidnapped or something. Now, I'm wondering if this is going to skip around a lot, or if it's going to rewrite a lot of the situations.
What's going on?
The surveillance system detected a rise in shadow readings. It's currently stabilizing around a level 3 alert, located in that town of Inaba.
What?
Looks like he's shown up already. That saves us the trouble of having to puzzle this out.
Yu-san and his friends are in danger. Mitsuru-san, please give the order to dispatch us.
All right, we'll leave at once. Yamagishi, leave Lavras to Kikuno and accompany us.
I understand. Well then, I leave the rest to you, Kikuno-san.
Understood. Lady Mitsuru, everyone, please be careful.
Well, that's a random new character. At least that I don't remember character at all. Oh, a maid. Yeah, I mean, she does kind of have the maid thing now. Personal? Or should I say maids? Well, yeah, you know, shadow weeding's not a normal thing in the middle of a town, you know. I'm interested in the game now. Oh, no. Now we got 2 maid fanatics.
Oh, hold on, I guess.
Wait, Dan and Pat are now in the maid fanatic club, and the world is going to end because of it.
What is it?
If we can put Labras aside for a moment, are you going to be alright without having any maintenance done on you, I guess?
What do you mean?
I read the documents on your new equipment. At first I assumed it was referring to that large gun, but it's actually...
Ah, that. True. There have been no tests confirming that it is capable of being used in an actual combat situation. But we face a powerful foe this time.
Is it even possible? If even one thing were to go wrong...
I'm not sure what they're talking about there. Some kind of weapon, obviously, but... New equipment. Is this something she...
A change of clothes has been laid out in your car.
I don't remember her using something in the P4 story.
I see. Thank you.
I've also prepared Akihiko-san's favorite protein drink, and Fuka-san has been preparing a playlist suitable for a road trip in her room.
Why was the last one mentioned?
Huh?
That will be all, Kikuno.
Very well. Pardon me.
Too thoughtful? Oh, gasp. Everyone I know may taste of music.
Let's start this over, shall we? Shadow operatives, let's mobilize.
Start the Final Fantasy music soundtrack. Dun, 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 dun. This isn't Final Fantasy 15, damn it. I still need to try Final Fantasy 15 out. So many things to do. So many things to play. So many things I want to do and play. And yet, so ever little time.
Why are we taking this car again, Mitsuru?
Don't question it, Akihiko. There was no time to prepare a vehicle with the same equipment. Speaking of appearances, are you gonna wear that again?
Sure. There's a chance that we'll have to fight after all. These clothes give me the flexibility I need.
Impressive, Akihiko-san. You never change.
Still, to think that the culprit would make a move so soon. We've completely lost the initiative.
Yeah, I mean, they just left, and now it's like, we gotta go back.
Indeed. We need to begin taking measures right now. I only hope no danger comes to Narukami and his friends.
But you know, the one thing I'm curious though, considering the bigger picture that we know now, how did they know of the P4 cast? It makes sense why he's familiar with the P3 cast, because they killed his father, or his father that adopted him and experimented on him. So obviously he was familiar with them, but how did he learn of the P4 cast? Is what I'm kind of curious about. I mean, I guess the godlike well, yeah, that probably would be it. Hey Dan. Why he has a cape though? Like I said, he's fulfilling the survival in an apocalyptic situation anime trope. But I guess the god creature, which one was he? I know it said he was like one of the dentines of the sun, didn't it? He was a fire or sun type dentine. But he said he was born from Inaba's feel of wanting to be like isolated from everyone during like a troubled time or something like that. So I guess he's what made him aware of the P4 cast, I would assume, because obviously he would know of it, because he was born because of him. So you just missed the maid, that's for sure, Dan. Because he played the game, obviously. Yeah, Bill, I thought you abandoned us all. You left me with Dan for months, man. You know how much I had to go through? He's like, maids, maids! I need maids! Wayne the maids everywhere!
Mitsuru-san, why don't we just ask them to cooperate with us?
I agree. They seem pretty strong.
No, they're still young. If I asked for their assistance, it would waste time better spent at school. Worse yet, it would put them in danger. I don't want anyone else to have to go through that anymore.
See, I mean, I can understand her logic and totally respect that, but obviously if they're going to be in danger anyway, there's not really much you can do about. That's how you roll. I see.
I understand how you feel, but they don't seem like the kind who'd listen. You know, we were the same way back then.
What, Dan and his fictional maids? I don't know. That's probably what's all underneath his bed. Ha! No. Didn't you know? I'm destined to be alone forever. With a car in the middle of nowhere.
We have new information. Kikuno sent me a message.
I kind of do think it's odd they introduced a whole new character, though. I mean, they even gave her unique artwork. No stock kind of shadow outline or something, or just be a disembodied voice. I'm not going to even comment on
I
that.
tasked Kikuno with reviewing Ergo Research's quarantine server. But it seems new evidence has come to light regarding Ikutsuki, who we discussed in our earlier conversation. According to the report, it seems Ikutsuki was performing an experiment on his own in the lab directly after the explosion. It's unknown if this is related to our current mission, but there was a record of a plume of dusk being used in the experiment.
A plume of dusk.
And you know, actually, the whole conversation about the plume of dusk being used on a person versus the anti-shadow machines actually brought an interesting thought to me about the Ansel. Because, you know, I did a video, I never published it. I tried it like 3 times, but I felt like I kept coming off too mean. But I did like I tried to make a response video to that awful theory about Teddy in Persona 4 that MatPat did. Awful, totally misguided freaking theory that has so much misinformation or misunderstandings or just But when I made those videos, I made several different things to note, and like Mantis from the Ansel was something I discussed in the later 2 attempts of making a video on that. And in a way, when you think about it, Arena 2 could explain why Mantis existed in the Ansel.
So, what are the details of this experiment? Nothing good, I bet.
It's okay, no need to be ashamed. We all trying to walk off that extra holiday weight. What? Again, I don't even need to know what the hell that's supposed to mean. But, so if you're not familiar with the Ansel, Mantis is a part of Aegis who was separated because of the passing of the main character in Persona 3. She felt deeply saddened and wanted to toss away her newly found human emotions and just be more robotic. That led to Mantis existing in the Ansel. She was the discarded humanity Aegis wanted to no longer experience because of her feelings over what happened. You could, in theory, say that Mantis was a split personality that may have been created in a conjunction with the main character touching Aegis's heart, along with the plume of dusk, because the redhead kid got a split personality person that hangs out with him because of it. So Mantis may have actually been created because of the plume of dusk itself.
Ikutsuki was...
It's an interesting idea, because originally you gave an idea the plume of dusk is like basically the souls, essentially. But it could be used as a reason to also explain Mantis existing. Well, you got a really loud car then. You're one of those jackasses that just boom right by the house. Oh, they're just speeding by really fast. What is the speed limit commonly in Japan? Because, like, in America, like, on highways, usually 60, 70 is, like, the speed limits on a lot of highways in America. So, I'm not really sure what, like, the average speed for, like, back road areas for Japan would be. Yeah, it was your imagination.
Yamagishi, tell me our current location.
One moment. I'm looking it up now. We're currently in Inaba Pass. We're almost at the target coordinates.
Now, I'm interested to see how they get captured.
What is this?
Oh.
Was that?
What's wrong?
Who's driving this thing?
Driver,
Oh.
It's just like during the hijacking.
Well, that's not good.
On it. A barrier. Are we trapped?
Well, that didn't go well. That didn't go well at all. Chapter 2. Chapter 3. Now, actually, that's probably a good idea, because we never get really see how Ken, Junpei, and Yukari get involved.
Why are we taking this car again, Mitsuru?
Okay, she taunted the Teddy. Gotcha. Not quite what I meant. I'm assuming that's a stab at MatPat. that Teddy theory was terrible, man. If you're not familiar with any of the other Persona games, and you're literally talking about the confines of Persona 4 itself, I could maybe understand some of the thought process. But when you especially are familiar with Persona 3, you know right off the bat that can't be. Now, when I made those videos, like I said, I never posted them. I kept feeling like it came off too negative. Like, I don't want to be like an asshole and bash someone. I just wanted to, debunk it. So I kept feeling like I was being too mean. But, Mantis, I was using Mantis as a actual defense of his theory. Because Mantis, aside from being shown to be Aegis's human feelings that she was trying to disregard, never explains how she existed in any regard. So, that's why I find this interesting, because the Plume of Dusk thing that's happening to the villain could explain all. So, in other words, that takes away that defense. Because, I mean, it's up in the air. I mean, Aegis has a persona, and you can't have a persona in a shadow. So, that led to the strange question, how did Mantis exist if Aegis has a persona? Because, at the same time, Mantis was also... She was also a cognition-type creature, because she, at the end of Ansel, she bears yellow eyes like shadows do. So, it led to an interesting conflict. You don't know, Teddy is obviously the main killer of Persona 3. Persona 4 main killer of Shadow. That's how it all connects. How else do you explain Teddy being how he is? Bears are natural predators of Mantis. And all can... What the hell? Everyone is bashing MatPat now. It's fine. You talk about the whole thing about, that Delta wound thing? That seems like a very non-controversy to me, if that's what you're referring to. I just think it was just, Toby just saying, I think you should credit a game more properly, and that is, I think a lot of people took that very into a controversy in that regard myself. But yes, MatPat does get bashed a lot. Yeah. I don't like to come off as a big asshole unless the person is a really big asshole. I do say he's a shill all the time, because he very clearly follows the algorithm and does things for views and money versus this is what I really want to do usually. Like, that's a very rare project these days, because that doesn't usually get you views and stuff. And, but I've never personally had a problem with MatPat, so I don't want to come off as, like, fucking saying, oh, yeah, I hate you, and like, I don't hate him, I just really wish he wasn't so corporate anymore. He's just very corporate, and it feels very lifeless to me. That's that's the thing I don't like about modern Matt Pat. Like, in his old videos, you know, he joked around. He would actually do interesting, like the topics he does nowadays.
There was no time to prepare a vehicle with the same equipment. Speaking of appearances, are you gonna wear that again?
Topics he does now are just very, and then there's the mistakes. Like I said before, I think that's also one of the things I actually disrespect about him a lot, is the fact when he makes a crucial mistake, he doesn't address it. He doesn't either fix the video or make a new video. Like, I mean, he literally made a video talking about the meteor in Fortnite, and he forgot the concept of gravity. Like, he literally forgot the factor in gravity into the meteor coming into the planet's atmosphere. When he came to, like, mathematically, like come up with the impact or how much damage it would do or whatever. Like, he forgot to factor gravity into that. And you think that would be a big fuck up, demanding, like, probably either unlist the video or something and make a new one and factor in that whole thing, but he didn't. You could just still look up that Fortnite video and just be like, woo.
Sure. There's a chance that we'll have to fight after all. These clothes give me the flexibility I need.
I'm just saying, you think that would be something you would... We have gravity. Wow. I just saying, you think... I'm not dissing him for making a mistake. People make mistakes. I just feel like it's really disregarding, like, your integrity to not fix it. Like, why wouldn't you make a new video? Like, okay, I honestly fucked up. I mean, he makes jokes about the stuff he fucks up, so I mean, he acknowledges them. I just don't get why he doesn't do a proper addressing them. Like, you think you would remake the video with the mistake fixed, or make a debunk video either defending or showing how your theory was debunked, maybe. Well, he's certainly not as bad as Phil in that regard, that's for sure.
Impressive, Akihiko-san. You never change.
I mean, at least MadPat does take jokes to his mistakes, so I'll give him that, of course.
Still, to think that the culprit would make a move so soon. We've completely lost the initiative.
Indeed. We need to begin taking measures right now. And we hope no danger comes to Narukami and his friends.
Why is it repeating the scene? Like, we just literally did this. Like, I understand there were two other paths to go down, but is it... Well, actually, since... Actually, whose perspective are we hearing the thoughts of? Saying we were hearing the thoughts of Aigis in the previous thing.
Mitsuru-san, why don't we just ask them to cooperate with us?
Okay, so we're still doing Aigis because she got the yellow outlining. So... Okay, so why are we watching this part in this?
I agree. They seem pretty strong.
Nothing seems different at all. It's Aigis' perspective still.
No, they're still young. If I asked for their assistance, I don't want anyone else to have to go through.
I understand how you feel, but they don't seem like the kind who...
Yeah, it's just the same. We're gonna get the cutscene again?
Kikuno. I tasked Kikuno with reviewing Ergo research, but it seems new evidence is, according to the report, it's unknown if this is related to our...
A plume of...
It's the same. I swear it looks like it's just the same.
So, what are the details of this experiment? Nothing good, I bet.
Ikutsuki was...
Now those two parts... What's those two parts in it? There's the engine going up.
Yamagishi.
One moment. We're currently in Eno...
Then it's probably gonna do the anime cutscene. Seriously, why is it repeating this part? I'm just gonna let this go just in case there is something different in it. Probably not though. Might be though, because Numboy cut off during it, so. Also, see, that's why I kept saying climax, by the way, Dan. Remember before I started this, I kept calling it Climax, and I was like, I couldn't, but it's Ultimax, and I was like, why did I keep calling it Climax? It's because in Japan it is called Persona 4 Arena Climax. They changed it to Ultimax, but in the game it's still called Climax. So, I don't know, maybe they were kind of worried about the terminology being associated with something else. Fill in X hours gameplay time to get paid. I don't know. Oh, you know... maybe I accidentally... Did it say Cleo? I don't think... Maybe it did say Cleo, I didn't know this. Okay, maybe I just didn't pay attention. That probably did say Cleo, so that's just for the car scene. I think I accidentally didn't notice that was actually a Cleo thing. So, I thought that was just continuing Aegis's path, though. Well, that was sudden.
So, you've come to fight me, Featherman!
Merlion, the evil forces have fallen! Stop here!
How dare you oppose me? Minionlings, get them!
Minionlings?
Everyone, I've had enough of this! Ultimate Arrow! It's over!
That was totally Power Rangers.
Thank you very much!
How do you even do those special effects real life? Isn't that supposed to be edited in on the computer? Can we bring Joker in now? I really hope that P5R thing's new. I mean, it could be a new. I think it's too soon to just have a new version of Persona 5. At most, I think it's either going to be a port to the Switch, or it's going to be a fighting game, or some other new game. I think it would be weird to have a new version of... I mean, I know people who make that argument. That did happen with Persona 3, but that was also a very different development. Like, Persona 3 did have problems in its development. Like, you could see that had actual... it had a completely different battle system. Like, if you look at really old... Like, there's very... Like, I think there's, like, 2 videos and a few screenshots of what the original Persona 3 concept was. And, like, combat was completely different than what it was in the Persona 3 we got. And the main characters were different. But I think the thing was that they wanted to add more of a conclusion to the storyline with the answer and fixed some problems that was in the original release with FES. There obviously wasn't that kind of problem with Persona 5. It had a good conclusion to understand what happened, because you gotta understand, back with the original version of Persona 3, no one really understood what the fuck happened. It just ends on the rooftop with the main character in Aegis's hands. It's like, okay. Like, nobody understood he was dead. Like, that part seemed kind of like, oh. It's like, you don't get told that. Though some people theorized it, but the game doesn't tell you he died in the original Persona 3, so. He just laying there sleeping. He's like, I just gotta stay here, okay, I guess. Okay. Like hell, I mean that's what I even walked away after I finished the game, and then when I went to the answer, I was like, I guess the game, like I said, just doesn't outright tell you. I mean, it shows the door thing that happens in that, but it doesn't outright tell you that it consumed his soul to do that.
I'm tired.
You're on a roll, Featherpink.
Huh? Do you think so? The directors had nothing but good things to say, too. Looks like this will have a positive effect on your main job. Speaking of your next shoot.
Apparently, the manager is not important enough to get their own kill dog. Persona 3 got the answer, yes. The answer explained what happened at the end. And that's what I'm saying. Persona 5 doesn't have that issue. You know, you got... Is the response? I don't know. At most, it might be a port to the Switch. I think it would be weird to have an upgraded Persona 5. Because what more are they going to really add? It honestly feels like it's always really freaking good. I don't know what more they could really do. Like, I loved all the characters, the social links, the twists, the story wraps up. Unless they add a character like Maria. That was her name, right? Maria or some with an M. The chick they added the golden. I think it was Maria. And there was a lot of backlash over her. Like, you either liked her or fucking absolutely hated her. There was no middle ground really for her. There was a really huge divide when she was introduced and how she interacted in the story and everything. Like, if they did something like that, I think they would be dividing people's love for Persona 5 more versus her whole story was pointless. Yeah, from what I understand, she's just a new thing. Didn't really do much. But I haven't experienced the whole story. I know the bits of it. Like, you know, I don't know like all the emotional roller coastering. I just know the overall plot with all. Oh, and she's doing college on the side of this? Is she crazy? Could you imagine being an actor and doing college at the same time? Posing in the middle of winter in just a t-shirt. Why would you, like, you think, what are they doing? It's like, okay, Yukiko, Yukitan, Yukai or Yukitan, whichever that. We need you to wear this very, very small t-shirt in the dead of winter outside. You gotta stand by this tree covered in snow. Now we're gonna hit the tree and make the snow fall you, and it'll be all cutesy and everything. And it's like, last I checked, a lot of photo shoots happen inside, so I'm not quite sure what's going on here. When I mentioned I had to practice archery in high school, it really got their attention. So, Feather Ranger at the time of the Wena games is new, so she hasn't been doing this very long. There is no emotional roller coaster. She just doesn't remember who she is. Then figures it out in the end, and it's like, whatever. I'm not sure where Dan is in Golden. I know he figured out about Adachi and stuff. And we did see Maria and the P4 cast very, very briefly. And she is a fighter, but apparently she does not have a story mode like Adachi does in this. But, yeah, it's just kind of... it's like, okay, so they tied her as part of the plot line, essentially, but what did that really change a whole lot of? I don't really see the bigger picture of why they really added her. Like, the answer, as badly designed in the gameplay aspect that the answer was in Persona 3 FES, because it lacks all the shit that makes it really enjoyable in the gameplay sense, because it is just a grind fest. No social no social structure or anything to help get to know characters. I mean, you do know the characters, but I mean, you just got lots of grinding, farming for personas. You can't summon personas. You have to go back, hunt down that persona, and capture it if you want to do some kind of fusion, which adds more to the grinding and everything. It's just so designed so terribly. It shows you how the social link system is such a big thing to the story. It really does. It really, really, really does. But, I mean, that added understanding the ending, what happened to the main character. That added what shadows were, figuring out that shadows and personas were basically a coin flip of each other. That explained all kinds of crap. That added so much shit.
What's wrong? Something troubling you?
Oh, not really.
Go shopping with Senpai. The only person that defended her insane... She, like, at the end of the answer, everyone splits into teams of two. Because they get, like, some key or something. Like, there's time shenanigans in the answer. Let's put it simple like that. So, they get some key where they could do all kinds of weird shit. And go back to the end of Persona 3. And Yukai wanted to fucking go back and try to save the main character, which, I mean, I don't blame her for thinking about it, but like pretty much anyone else in the party said, if we fuck up, the world is going to end. Everyone will die. And she's just like, I don't fucking care. I'm like, and Mitsuru is the only person who sided her. Because everyone split into teams of two. And Aigis teamed up with Mantis. Junpei teamed up with Akihiko. Ken and the dog teamed up. Mitsuru and Yukitan teamed up. And you had to fight everyone in teams of two. It was a really epic part of the answer. It's a really cool fight area. Fighting everyone in dual teams. But that is way close to the end, and you are going to be playing hours before you get anywhere close to that. I don't even know how long I played the end so far. I'd have to look on YouTube. Because I did do a playthrough. Admittedly, like, the first beginning part was the force capture thing, where I didn't even have any commentary, and then I stopped it for a while. And then with the Luxio, I picked it up and actually did commentary at that point. Yep, the backup Shadow anti-Shadow team. Something like that. Yeah, I would imagine between then and Arena 1, I would imagine they haven't had too many shadow problems, Willie.
Is it really that hard to just send back a reply? It's Golden Week, for God's sake.
What's this? Don't tell me you've got some boyfriend trouble.
Oh, no, it's nothing like that.
Why is there a helicopter? Now, they arrived in a helicopter, so I guess...
What? What's this helicopter doing here? Is there a helicopter in this shooting script?
Huh?
So we don't even get to see Lapis waking up or anything. I am here to kidnap Pink Feather. You will surrender her or face the imminent destruction at the hands of Copter-chan.
I'm glad she came, but she's making too big of a scene.
And then she just runs off. See you, man, you'll fuck off. It's like, bye. Have a lovely time. Adios, adios. Where's the action, man? See, how is this going? It looks pretty lengthy. I would have preferred if it continued after the P4. Though, I mean, it is nice to have how they got involved in now, so...